Hi, hello, beautiful people. Okay, I haven't done a video for a long time, and there's a big reason for that. Last time, I think, was probably 2019 election results. Just after that, um, I have since then felt really downhearted about politics, although I still carry on. I can't not look. I wish I could go back to the days where I didn't have any interest in politics at all because then I felt the world was a little bit easier, not having to see or know about all the terrible things that go on in the world. But right now, I've done a lot of videos before on Palestine. My Facebook friends, I lost a few in the past because of it all, um, and I don't care because if these people need to go because of my views on not killing people, then there really wasn't friends in the first place. Anyway, I have said to a lot of people, Toto keeps telling me to do another video. A lot of people, Jeremy Corbyn people, uh, where are all your videos gone? I just haven't been inclined to do them. So I'm back again anyway. And I don't know if I'll do any more after this one, but here I am. I feel like I've got to say something, especially the fact that there is a lot of people out there who don't know what Zionism is. They seem to attribute it only to the Jews and when asked, they say it's something to do with Jewish people and their right to self-determination. And when you try and talk to these people, they don't really understand that it isn't actually anything to do with the Jewish people at all. Zionism is actually colonialism. It's about taking land when a population of people are already living there and driving those people out if they resist. And if they resist, they're slaughtered in numbers, as we're seeing in Gaza. And this is why we say we do not hate Jews. It's not about Jews. We hate Zionism. We hate the political ideology. Those people who wave their flags for Zionism come from all over the world. Their flags are all different colours. We can even see Nazi signs coming back, all among the Israeli, along with the Israeli flags as well, which is absolutely horrific. Another reason why I haven't done a lot of these videos recently is because it gets me so emotional, it gets me so angry, and I really don't want to be crying on here. But the sights that we're seeing of little babies being crushed underneath buildings, you get people saying, "Don't watch it." To me, that's gaslighting. You can't not see something that is happening in our world. I mean, we're all human beings, aren't we? And if we stop seeing and we stop caring about each other, then what do we have? You know, there are so many wonderful Jewish people out there, and they live among us and all over the world. And that's the way it should be, in my opinion. I don't hate Jews. In fact, I employ a Jewish girl and an African man to take my Nicholas has a disability, to take him out so that I can work when I'm doing the work that I need to do. I don't like using the word hate, but in some cases, hatred is the only feeling you can have that reflects the hatred we see others express when they call for innocent people to die. They call our marches hate marches, and there are political people actually saying these marches are for hate when we're saying we don't want people dying. It just doesn't make any sense to me. What we're doing is an act of solidarity and love for our fellow human beings. The only hatred we experience is a reflection of what they show to us in their need for division of different types of people. If there were little green men that came from a different remote planet coming here and deciding that the land that we live on now belongs to them, and we must accept it, would we? What if there were guns pointing at our children's heads and they built walls around us, forcing us all to live into small areas? Would we fight back? If they took all of our weapons, would we not pick up rocks and try and fight back to get rid of them? Right now, we're seeing our leaders agreeing that a group of people who are living on land they've lived on for many, many years and have been kept under occupation for over 70 years must be eradicated. And we see babies crushed under buildings and premature babies taken out of incubators to rot. What kind of people would do such things? It is just horrendous. It doesn't matter if it's a Jewish person that says this is okay, or a French man, or an Italian woman, or it doesn't matter. I won't like those sort of people. If you think it's okay that people have to die and should die, and that will bring peace, it doesn't compute in my mind whatsoever. So, no, this has nothing to do with Jewishness. It isn't anti-Semitism. I do not like Keir Starmer or Rishi Sunak for the reasons that I've just said, or any of the Labour Party that I have encouraged so many people to vote for previously under Jeremy Corbyn. These people agree with all of this, and I can't see why anybody would vote for somebody who is okay with the murder of children. And these people are going to lead our countries, going to lead us. They're going to develop our lifestyle and our social situations. Why would we want such people ruling us? Why do people not go for the kind like Jeremy Corbyn, kind-hearted, who really do genuinely care about humans? And this is everything to do with my humanity. Most who have known me for years on here will know I've been saying this for decades, and I've fought for the Palestinian cause for decades. And it's because I'm human. And that is really the very basis of it all. We are human, so we fight for each other. When one is harmed, all is harmed, and this is my philosophy. I'm tired of the mainstream media's need for us to hate Muslims. Every time the reasoning seems to get traced back to sources that have a Jewish bias. How is that ideology can have so much control over who we can love and who we can hate? It is in the beginning, it feels like the stories that we used to read when war broke out, when couples were split up, one side of the wall was built and the other was living on the other side, divided and unable to live together. And all this does is keep bringing hatred to everyone who dares to love a different type of person because they can come from over the wall. We're told about how evil Islam is, but from what I know so far, and I've spoken about it in other videos as well, I have seen nothing but love, and it depends how you read it. It depends on who you are, I think, and how you read things. If you're reading spiritual knowledge, and if you're understanding things in a spiritual way, then you will read it completely differently. And surely we've evolved beyond the point now where we can be so easily influenced in who is wicked and who is biased on their government and leaders' side. I'd actually like to read to you something that I post quite regularly on what Zionism actually is. The state of Israel exists in the name of Jews, even if it's important to point out that many Jews have distanced themselves from this state, let alone its apartheid policies and genocidal violence. Uganda, on the other hand, exists in the name of indigenous communities, spelled down to the third schedule of the 1995 Constitution. To establish a state in the name of a specific community has often led to much conflict between the national community and political minorities. Minority here refers to communities that are not part of the national community regardless of their numerical strength. To minimize these conflicts, nation states have typically dealt with the political minorities in three ways. First, by eliminating the minorities through mass killing and mass expulsion. And this is what the Europeans have done wherever they've settled from Europe itself into North America, from Australia to New Zealand. Second, by subjecting minorities to systematic discrimination that sometimes escalates into full-scale apartheid, as witnessed in South of Africa and now Israel. Third, by tolerating minorities, by example, granting them citizenship rights without recognising them as members of the national community. There was a time when I used to think of the New World Order being a big tinfoil hat conspiracy, whilst on the other hand, I would wonder if some of the conspirator exposers had a point where they used to speak of the New World Order and all of its corrupt trappings. The New World Order was mentioned by Reagan and other presidents and officials. I noticed symbols used in music videos. Michael Jackson and others tried to get the message out there through their art. This song, They Don't Care About Us, came with a message that doesn't take much working out, that they were all being blackmailed. The entertainment business is owned by Zionists. Their sponsorship and backing, in many cases, come from a corruptness that compromises the entertainers. The Epstein control factor is long reaching. Not only are they emotionally and psychologically compromised, but financially too. And I wonder what they have on Mr. Musk and Keir Starmer. Starmer in particular seems to appear to be caught in the headlights whenever he's asked any questions, and just supports Israel and the starving of the Palestinians and the cutting off of essential water. And this is a man that was a human rights lawyer. So what potential prime minister does this make him? He's clearly compromised in his favour for what I see as a bullying, genocidal terrorist state, even to the point of putting Israel before the United Kingdom, even the agreement of the escalation of the attacks on Russia to cover their failure in encouraging an end to what Israel is doing. Most people have lost the ability to think more complicated thoughts or feel more complicated emotions than those spoon-fed to them by the mighty propaganda machine. It's become entirely subjective, and the method of control and propaganda is pretty much invented by Israel and its anti-defamation league. If you have a problem with Israel breaking international laws and killing millions of Palestinians, it can only be because you hate. This is what seems to be told all of the time, and it seems to be the continuous narrative. Watching the Zionist Israelis at the border stopping food and water getting through to Gaza is horrific. What kind of people are these? They were brought up to have such vengeance like this. And we're told, well, look at these little babies, look at these Palestinians growing up, they'll turn out to be Hamas. But they don't seem to look at themselves and what they're doing to their own children and how they're bringing those up in hatred. They punish the present with the hatred of the past, and none of these Palestinian people have anything to do with the Jewish past. Even though the scenes we witness hurt us and cause us emotional suffering, still we must bear witness. This is a historic event, and one day our ancestors will look upon this and wonder what their ancestors, us, did in this position. What our position was on these events, just as we do with slavery and other such events. We're told by the media and news outlets, as well as those supporting Zionism, that this is justified. They say these newborns are guilty because one day they will grow up to be Hamas. Every time they kill these people, and I know of at least two similar events where Israel cut water and power off to Gaza. Meanwhile, we see these trucks trying to get through full of aid. People have spent their money for that aid to go to these people, and there are Israelis waving their Israel flag, stopping that aid getting to those people. Why do they think that the people of the world, they can see this, and why do they think that we should be supporting it? I feel that because Jeremy Corbyn awakened a lot of the younger generation to politics, they are more politically aware. And I have previously said that the younger generations before, they seem to have a lot more empathy than any generation before. My mum was born in 1945, just at the end of the war, and she had very little empathy. And my grandparents before her, young adults during wartime, were worse still. There were no hugs or telling each other, I love you. And I decided, and I, even as a small child, that I would not bring my children up like that. My friends' parents, you could hear them say, I love you, goodbye, as they walked out the door, and there was none of that. And you notice it. And I decided that when I had children, I would bring them up with lots of love and hugs. And I have done that. And I feel that I've brought up some wonderful young men who really understand multiculturalism and understand, different people and live and let live. Now, as young adults voting, one of them for the first time, I think there will be a huge swing against the two main parties because of their stance on Gaza. The older generation that voted Tory in the last generation, many, like my stepfather, have now passed away with the loss of the youth vote, the socialist votes, and the Muslim votes. I think Keir Starmer's in for a really big shock. Certainly for me, I absolutely won't be voting for his um, Labour Party, not at all. So anyway, I think that's it. That's about as much as I'm going to say today. Apart from, I think we need to say, remember that all over the world, there are still decent people out there. Hundreds and thousands of decent people. There are wonderful, loving Muslim people that have never done harm to anybody, never hurt anybody. There are millions that did not kill someone today, millions that did something that helped another. And it's simply that when one does kill, that that one will be reported as a type and a category because it's what they need you to see. They need you to see this type of person killed this person and look at the colour of him, look at what race he is, look at um, his religion and all of those things. There will be many times where there will be a white killing that never gets seen in the paper. When my little brother was left in an alley, um, it was in just one paper that was just the main paper for the town, not in any of the national news or anything like that. But had he been a different colour, I think it probably would have been headline news. So it's a time to reflect and learn, and time to stop bullying and buying into the sensationalism that they use to sell papers. It kills our empathy, our love and connection to one another. And a lot of these studies are as influenced as the mainstream media's need for us to love one another and love a different type of people and hate other types of people. And they use this fear to make people hate. It wouldn't take too much working out what types of people we're talking about here. Every time the reasoning for hatred seems to get traced back to a source that has a bias for those that we are taught are the good guys. And even when they commit the worst type of atrocities, we are told that this is right and correct. Most people know this can't be right. Surely you know this can't be right. Yet still they try to find ways to agree with what they are told. I should think that, or else they would have to rethink their whole thought processes that how they've been thinking for generations. Maybe they're afraid that they will lose friendships and whatever, but these people, if they do not care about each other, if they do not care for humankind, if they have no humanity, what kind of friends are they? They cling to the idea that surely something will happen to show that they were right after all, and I don't think that's coming. I'm hoping the International Court of Justice will bring about some justice for the Palestinian people. How horrible feeling it's going to be too little too late. So we've got to keep calling, we've got to keep shouting, we've got to keep marching, and we've got to keep taking it as it is, taking the truth against their lies. Okay, that's me done, I think. Thank you so much for listening. Love you all. Bye.